What's up guys, Brian here. Quick video, a lot to cover. We're going to talk about Dogecoin NASCAR sponsorship. We're going to talk about the VAI stablecoin has lost its peg, what to do about that if you're on Venus on the Binance Smart Chain. We're going to talk about my 3 final portfolio investments for this 2021 cycle, and we're going to talk about the HIVE back dollar. So let's get into it. So basically, I've seen a lot of people muttering, kicking around in the sand, upset that Dogecoin keeps rising, keeps making moves. You can't underestimate the power of the community. It is a viral, decentralized community marketing effort that the world has never seen. But Dogecoin is going to be decaled on the number 99 car for the Las Vegas NASCAR race this weekend. Big deal. And a lot of this stuff, it happens quick and people are like really blown away, like, well, how did this happen? A lot of times it's investors that just think it's cool and they pull something off big, and they just kind of market it for the greater good of the community, to pump their own bags, whatever you want to say. You got the richest man in the world talking about it. So if you don't have any Doge and you just keep missing out, and you just keep kicking in the sand, the easiest solution is to buy some Doge. I keep seeing people try to say, oh, it's not that good of a coin, this and that. Shut up. You don't know what you're talking about. Look, we got Bitcoin, we got Ethereum in number 1 and number 2, and they don't really work that well. They're bogged down with fees, so on and so forth. So don't and I always think you should have some Bitcoin, you should have some Ethereum, even despite their scalability issues. You should have some Doge. So anyway, moving on. Let's talk about the VAI stablecoin. So it lost its peg. It's around 9 to 10% below. So it's only worth like 91 cents right now. Now, if you took out loans on Venus on the Binance Smart Chain, you can cover your loan for less. And it's kind of like, in a reverse way, you're kind of making 10%. If you're able to do 2 things, you could take out a loan for USDC, which is going to be about 9% annually. It's about like 0.007% on a monthly basis. You could take out a loan there and then cover your Venus loan, convert it to Venus, and then cover your loan. You'd actually be getting away with less in the short term, and so you'd be kind of quote unquote covering 10% of your loan without really kind of taking away from your gains of maybe other stuff you went into. So that's one strategy. And I have to give a shout out to Crypto Slow. He actually sort of came up with this, because I was sitting here thinking, man, I want to take a Venus loan, and I want to take a VAI loan, but then it was down. I was like, if it goes back to $1, then I'm instantly losing. And this is when it was 6 to 7% off. Now it's about 10% off, 10% off. But I wish I would have thought in my head, just take a loan out on USDC on Venus. That way, cover any loan. I took out a small loan. I took out like a 200 VAI loan just to test it previously. So I can quickly cover that, obviously. But I'm thinking about going a lot deeper, and here's some strategies you could use with that. You could take out a USDC loan, and if you thought, let's say Pancake, if you thought cake was going to go up, and you wanted to mint a bunch of cake, you wanted to stake cake and earn more cake, you could do that. You could take out a loan for USDC, and then you could trade it to different stablecoin pairs like Tether and BUSD, and do liquidity pools on Pancake Swap or through like AutoFarm. So you'd be earning your cake, and you'd be earning auto. And the rates could change, certainly, but I think that you're going to be safe if you did that kind of a thing. If you're trying to stay safe like that, or you could just go long on some cryptos. Let's say you thought Litecoin was in a position that it's really going to pop here, or maybe Ethereum. You think Ethereum's going to shoot up, and you just took the USDC loan and bought more. Or it could be a thing that allows you not to have to maybe cash out some of your regular crypto positions. Because one of the things that I always run into is, you're like, okay, well, I want to buy these other coins, but what do I want to sell? And let's say if you don't have a lot of you don't keep a lot of money in the bank, you don't want to move more money in from fiat, you don't want to go that route, and it would cost you, let's say you want to buy with credit cards, for instance. A lot of times, a lot of these platforms, you're gonna have like a 3% fee, and then there's a lot of cards you can't use. You can't use American Express, can't use Discover card on a lot of stuff, so it's got to be MasterCard or Visa. So anyway, limitations. So the more you know, the more you can potentially make with these different strategies. Now, here's a particular strategy, and I wish I would have honestly thought about this earlier, because one of the problems, and a lot of you guys saw my last video, I powered up a lot of Steem, almost 20,000 Steem power, purchased it around 43 cents, and the Steem back dollar is way above $1. So essentially, if you earn $1 on a post, and let's say the Steem back dollar is at $6, then that's like earning $6. And that's why it ends up being a magic money machine. Now, on Steem, the thing you need to realize, I've got this thread hanging, it's like annoying. The thing you have to realize about Steem is, even if you just hogged your vote and you just voted for yourself for everything and just voted all your comments 100%, just completely hogged your vote, you would make 100% return in about 200 days if the Steem back dollar was worth $1. But it's not. It's worth like $6, and on top of that, you're earning Tron as well. So, and then obviously you could compound that by taking your earnings and putting back in. I'm not going to necessarily do that. I'm more looking at this month time frame. But the mental gymnastics that you do is, I converted some ETH and I converted some Litecoin. So then it's like, well, my investment in my work has to like outpace that, or I'm always like sitting there thinking, well, I should have just held ETH, or I should have just held Litecoin, which is obviously a good strategy in itself. So, but if you do the loan, if you're like, look, this is going to be like a 1 month play, or this is going to be a 2 month play, the money doesn't really cost you that much for what kind of gains that you can make if you think that this bull run is going to last. Now, I think we're safe out of this, consolidation channel. We're going to shoot on out of this, and I'm not going to get worried until Bitcoin's around 70,000. That's more when I get a little bit more worried, 65, 70,000. It gets a little overheated, and obviously we are seeing stuff that is getting overheated. The, NFTs situation is super overheated. Rules for Rebels did a good video on NFTs talking about how he doesn't really see the whole situation lasting, and I agree with his premise, because he's like, it's not the end users even buying this stuff, it's just crypto people trying to buy it to resell it for a higher amount. It's all speculation. It's like a speculative bubble, and I agree with that. Now the thing is with sports cards, for instance, is people are true fans, and they they're really like into sports and seeing people perform athletic feats, whether it be basketball, football, baseball, whatever, hockey. And so with trading cards, and then they, the trading cards were supposed to be limited, kind of thing, limited edition. There's only so many of them printed and stuff. So you have a little bit of rarity there. And, and then you could say, well, there are collectors that want to like have that and have it on the wall, or try to go to a spring training game and get a signature, that kind of stuff. So there is that kind of value, but that's why I always thought the Magic the Gathering, even though I was never into that, the premise of it was interesting, because you had rarity, and then you could actually play a game with it. So it had utility beyond just being kind of this cool card with like a cool drawing on it. So I agree 100%. The NFT thing is just completely out of whack. It's completely ridiculous. And it'll be one of those things that's going to go down in this cycle, kind of like the CryptoKitties thing, or it's going to be like one of those things that's kind of got hyped out. That was just kind of ridiculous. And like even people in crypto don't even completely understand why people are paying this much, because why would you trade, 200 ETH or something, for some kind of digital thing, and really think that somebody is really going to be able to come in there and buy it for more? It's almost like just these ultra whales, just, I don't know, just kind of goofing around, like think it's fun or something. I don't know. So that being said, one of the other things I wanted to mention, and again, with this stablecoin stuff out on the Venus platform, there's a lot of utility behind that, guys. And I typically don't leverage or be taking loans and stuff like that. But in this situation, the money is so cheap that you got to think, like, even for stuff, you could almost like cover your loan. If you make the right picks, you're going to cover the loan in a day or two. Okay, so next I want to talk about the 3 things that I'm buying. They're going to be like round out the portfolio. So Solana, Phantom, and Flow. So Solana, high capacity blockchain, has 400 millisecond block times. Looks like it's kind of a delegated proof of stake kind of thing. I think they call it proof of history. And or maybe that's Phantom. I don't know. I'm kind of getting the two mixed up. But anyway, you got potentially the fastest blockchain in the world. It's faster than EOS. EOS's half-second block times would be 500 milliseconds. Solana has 400 millisecond block times. So I'm going to take a small position in there, and I'm going to take a small position in Phantom because it is kind of like Nano. It's a DAG structure. Acyclic graph. I forget the term again. I always can't pronounce it. But anyway, you know, kind of the utility of Nano being free and instant transactions. You get some of that utility out on Phantom, but it's Ethereum compatible, so a lot of smart contracts and stuff can run on it, and a lot of existing Solidity code can run on Phantom. So I think there's definitely an area where they can kind of capitalize on the high fees, and you know, that we're seeing on Ethereum. You know, just like we're seeing, there's a lot of hype obviously around like Cardano. There's a lot of hype around Binance Smart Chain. Binance Smart Chain is the real deal. I will say that it is certainly the real deal. And some people would say the centralization, all that stuff. Yeah, I understand that. And there are some things that it could potentially improve on, or the ecosystem could grow out more as far as wallets, as far as maybe a decentralized bridge that isn't controlled by Binance, those kind of things. A lot of utility there though. So the other one is Flow. With this whole NFT thing, Flow is actually the blockchain that the NBA partnered with, and it seems like they got a lot of big names partnering with it to do these NFTs. And if that's going to be a thing right now, I think people are going to FOMO into it. And it's not listed on a ton of exchanges right now. If you have a Kraken account, you have access to it, but it's not on Binance right now. It's not on some of the other exchanges. So could be an opportunity there. I'm not going to go deep in any of these, simply because they've already, in my mind, kind of made their run, especially with Solana. And I mean, and Solana could be like up there in the, you know, 3rd position, or it could be up in the top 5, or you never know what it's capable of. But just like in the last cycle, when I found out about Nano, I researched into it. I liked what I saw. I experimented with the technology, and I took light positions in it. Then when everything fell out, then I was buying the stuff at like 82 cents. And so I've got a decent position in it, and now we're up there, you know, above 5, and we've hit up this, you know, $7. So I've made my money. I've made my money on it. And I haven't taken any kind of earnings on that. I haven't taken any kind of profits on that. I haven't taken profits on Cardano yet. Kind of watching Cardano. I like for it to hit over $1.50, $2. We'll kind of see. There's, you know, there should be a lot of pumping going on here in the next 4 or 5 days. I'd like to kind of see where we get with some of these. But I've almost broke my own rules with Cardano just because there's so much hype. There's so many people talking about it, and I don't think it's going to deliver exactly what everybody thinks it's going to deliver. But that being said, I am glad I hedged my bets, my EOS bets, with Cardano. So glad I bought into Cardano, because I never was like heavy on Cardano. Like mentally, I'm just like, EOS is looking better. And in a lot of ways, I still say that EOS does look better technologically, but you have to understand in crypto, and this is something you got to learn with Doge too, it's not necessarily all about the technology. A lot of it's the hype. It's what people get behind. You have to recognize that, because it's one time on Reddit, I saw someone say, and this was brought up once again by the Arizona Archer, aka sleeper agent Steve McClare. And he said about Quark that was number 6 on CoinMarketCap back in 2013, 2014. Somebody on Reddit at the time said, don't you guys realize the market has already seen it over and over again, and they decided not to put money in it. They passed on it, and it kept slipping down CoinMarketCap. And to kind of see that and sort of realize that people had already seen it. People have already seen EOS. And again, I still have an EOS position, and I think there's a lot of positive things happening in the EOS community, but you have to realize people have already seen it. They already had their chance to invest in it. It's already on these exchanges, and it's slipping. It's not a good sign. So it's not to talk negative about it. It's just the fact. And very, very few coins have been able to slip and then regain enormous traction. Doge being one of those that is able to kind of catch these just absolutely enormous parabolic rides and regain that marketing traction and that community effect. So the last thing I want to talk about is the HIVE back dollar. They implemented a new thing. You can earn 3% on the HIVE back dollar. Now, how can that benefit you? Right now, at this given time, this instant, I don't think it really benefits you, but keep it in mind for the next bear market, or if you think there's going to be a big pullback, you want to take some earnings, but you don't want to go out of crypto and you want to have a placeholder. The HIVE back dollar will pay you 3%. Now, the HIVE back dollar isn't an exact $1 peg. It can pull away from the peg, and I think it's around $1.10 right now, and it can pull under the peg. In extreme down pressure, I've seen it get down to 70 cents, and then it's been as high as maybe like $1.23 or something. So it's going to stay exactly at $1, but in kind of normal times where stuff's sort of like long tailing out, it will stay around $1. So anyway, guys, that's the video. And just to recap, never underestimate the power of the Doge. Extreme marketing viral effort like that the world has never seen. Secondly, the 3 investments that I'm going to kind of finalize my portfolio, because if you keep line extending out to more and more and more and more cryptos at this point in the cycle, you can get it, your whole thing gets too clouded. I've done that in the past where you're trying to have your hand in so many different investments, and you need to kind of like think about not extending, not chasing everything. A lot of stuff's going to look good. You're going to miss some stuff. And I think kind of focusing in, keeping your positions, unless something major changes and you got to make moves quick. I get that. But I'm going to try to curtail it down. 3 more be Flow, Solana, Phantom. And then, I'm pretty spread out in a lot of different things. Obviously, you guys have seen that before. So I'm going to start consolidating a few other things. So that HIVE back dollar pay 3%. Remember that for the bear market. And then on Venus, you can take loans on USDC for 0.007%, so less than 1% per month on USDC. You can take that completely out of the system, invest in other stuff. You can invest in other coins that are on the Binance Smart Chain, that live on the Binance Smart Chain. Cardano, Litecoin, Ethereum, Bitcoin, all that stuff lives on the Binance Smart Chain. Doge. And or you could take it all the way back out. You could put it into STEEM, and you could blog if that's not your thing, or you say, hey, STEEM centralize this and that, then do it in HIVE. You could do it in some other way, or you could buy a bunch of cake and stake cake if you think cake's going to go up, and then make some earnings. You get the capital appreciation, you earn more cake, cover your loan, boom, you made money on the little loan that didn't cost you that much. So anyway, guys, longer video than I thought, but thanks for sticking with me, and leave a comment below what you think about the investments of Flow, Factum, Solana. Leave what you think. Are you guys on a Venus platform, or are you on AutoFarm? Are you on the Binance Smart Chain? Are you guys enjoying it? And please subscribe to this YouTube channel. Follow me on all social media at Brian Phobos, YouTube, Instagram, Steam it, Twitter, HIVE, Library, BearShares, MySpace, Friendster, everywhere.